Hello, everyone, and welcome to Developing Palates. I am Aaron Loomis, and with me, as always, is June Liu. How you doing, June?
I'm pretty hungover. We are talking offline just now, but I went out to a buddy's to her for Saturday and way too much whiskey. So
Yeah.
that's all right. I'll
Yep.
recover. Well, I'm older now, so I'm not going to recover until probably like 2 3 days. So
Yeah. Yeah.
you know.
All right. So today we are talking about the Mombacho Liga Maestro Doble Robusto. This is close to a Churchill. It's a 6 3/4 by 50 ring gauge. Comes out of the Mombacho factory in Nicaragua. Wrapper is from Jalapa. Binder is from Condega, and the filler is from Jalapa and Condega. Blended by Claudio Segoy. Price point on this cigar is $10.96, and this was released in March of 2016. So with all the details out of the way, let's get into our experience. So June, what was your pre-light experience like?
Pre-light experience was really good. Starting first with the look of the cigar, it had a gorgeous, silky smooth Colorado red shade wrapper to it. Thought the veins are well pressed, seams are tight, bunching roll felt good. I got a structured, uniform give to the entire cigar. Didn't feel any soft spots in the head. It was finished off with a pretty, fairly good sized thick double cap to it. In terms of the pre-smoke nosing experience, the wrapper, nosing the wrapper, I got a good balance of barnyard, cedar, dry black pepper. Nosing the foot, got the same black pepper, cedar, and some dry roasted nuttiness. And on the cold draw, I got stereotypical what I typically get over dried cardboard. Got some light cream and a touch of salt on the lips. So overall, very good.
Yeah, wrapper was medium Colorado red, like you mentioned. A couple of medium-sized veins that were visible. The seams were visible just because there was like a slightly darker color right at the edge of the leaf, so it was just easily seen. But they were very smooth. Two well-applied caps. Cigar has two bands. Primary being that standard Mombacho band. Second one was the one signifying the Liga Maestro. Both bands matte black with gold lettering and borders. The aroma from the wrapper was a mix of barnyard and leather. Foot gave like a sweet tobacco aroma along with a very light white pepper. Pre-light draw gave me like a really light fig sweetness. There's also a little hint of a spice there. And there was also like a kind of a mild medium spice that I was getting on my lips. So very good. So let's get into the flavors. So first third through final third, what was your experience like?
I thought the first third was awesome. Perhaps probably my favorite part. So off the bat, I got very concentrated flavors, very well balanced as well, and nuanced really. So specifically, I got medium full body cream, some dried roasted nuts, dry minerality, a very mannered, like tapered wood bitterness, and I got quite a bit of floral notes, and what I assume is the jalapa wrapper that Claudio used, because I hear that's more floral, but of course, it's just hearing things, and I can't confirm that. Enchin, some spice started coming through in the form of black pepper, but it was very balanced and nuanced. That worked with the profile and spice levels weren't spiked. And that black pepper worked really well with the notes that I just mentioned earlier. Through the retro, a lot of floral notes, some medium full body cream finish. The finish was very, it was soft and lingering. And I got a lot of medium body cream, bitter dried nuts, wood bitterness, and cedar. In terms of body, slightly above medium strength at the solid medium mark. So moving on to the second third. At the start of the second third, I felt like the flavor profile shifted towards more of the floral aspects. And that paired really well with especially that wood bitterness and that, tapered black pepper, as well as that medium body cream. Towards the middle of the second third, the profile kind of shifted again for me and became more spice dominant, namely in black pepper. And then I had that dry roasted nuttiness mixing it with that. And then that's, towards that mark, that basically the middle of the cigar, the strength started creeping up on me, and it's to kind of hitting that medium full range. Through retrohaling, I got increased levels of black pepper, floral notes, dry roasted nuttiness, and wood bitterness. Finish still soft and lingering with cedar, wood bitterness, and dry roasted nuts. Body stays at the same, slightly above medium mark. So, and then on the last third, it's for the most part continuation of the latter part of the second third. Profile is still very well in there. Black pepper, roasted dry nuttiness, focused. And then I got some distinctive wood bitterness and medium body cream and cedar. On a handful draw, I got this really tasty burnt sugar coming through. But it was definitely on an intermittent fashion, and I wish that actually that note was here to stay. Through the nose, tapered black pepper, medium body cream, cedar, barnyard. Finish continues to be soft and lingering with notes of wood bitterness, dry roasted nuts, and cedar. Body continued to be kind of a tad above the medium mark, and strength moving towards that medium full mark. So all in all, very, I think about balance in this smoke. I think about balance. I think about focus and flavors, which is, two things that I really enjoy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, initial draws for me brought like a mix of cinnamon and woodiness, and then after a few draws, that cinnamon became a bit spicier, and the wood was in the background. The Retro Hill was carrying like a milder version of that cinnamon to it. Then a quarter-inch in, some cream joined into the mix, so that mellowed out that cinnamon spice, but it was mixing really well with the woodiness. And then 3/4 of an inch in, that creamy wood was up front, with some of that cinnamon still in the background. And the Retro Hill was carrying an even mix of the cinnamon and the creamy woodiness. At 1.25 inches, a little bit of coffee came into the mix to go along with the creamy wood, and there was still a little bit kind of cinnamon in the background. And then as the third was wrapping up, it was primarily the creamy wood with a little bit of cinnamon, some coffee, and then a little bit of bitterness had come in as well. And the strength was right at medium for me. And then getting into the second third, it's creamy wood, still a slight wood bitterness, a little bit of cinnamon still in the background. Retro Hill was creamy wood, a little bit of wood bitterness, but the cinnamon had gone away from the Retro Hill. And then at 1/2 inch in, that wood moved up to the front, and it tasted a little dirty. Not in a bad way. It just, I'm not really sure how to describe it. It just, I don't know. If you put your tongue on a piece of wood that had dirt on it, I don't know. I guess that's the way to best way to describe it.
Gritty, maybe.
Yeah, yeah. It wasn't really necessarily gritty. I would say I get more of that gritty dirtiness, like more from like a broadleaf wrap cigar. So it wasn't necessarily gritty. It was just kind of like maybe like a really fine dirt, not maybe a step up from dust, but it was and it wasn't bad. I mean, it's a profile that I get in cigars sometimes, but it's not a bad one. Retro Hill was like a smoky wood. And then at 1 inch in, that kind of dirty profile had gone away, and it was primarily wood with a little bit of the cream in the background. And then as the third was wrapping up, it was just wood, and the cream had completely left the profile. Strength was still at medium. And then getting into the final third, the wood only profile was continuing. Retro Hill was also just wood. And then at a 1/4 inch in, some cream came back into the profile. And then at a 1/2 inch in, the cigar began to heat up on me a little bit. It had actually gone out on me, so I had to do a relight. And kind of after that relight, it was just running a little hot. So that heat kind of brought in some bitterness, which I think is pretty typical when cigars heat up. But that bitterness was kind of going along with that creamy wood that was there. And that's kind of pretty much how the cigar finished for me. Strength did increase, I think partly because of the heat, so it was just slightly above medium for me at that point. So getting into performance, burn and draw, what was your experience like?
I thought the burn was really good. I smoked this for 3 hours, so very long time, very slow burning cigar. Burn line, it was never razor sharp by any means, but unlike you, I had no burn issues. I never did any relights, touch-ups or any of that nature. Ashes held on strong for me, averaging 1.5 to close to 2 inches of increments. The draw for me was perfect. It was like just amount of resistance. I cut the cap wherever kind of like the ring gauge of the cigar started. No issues on draw. So overall, very well, very good construction for mine.
Yeah, I mean the burn was never really razor sharp for me either. I mean it was kind of a little wave here and there, but it always kept up with itself. I didn't need to touch it up in regards to the burn line itself. But that final third, it did go out on me, and I had to do a relight, and it kind of heated up after that point. So that was unfortunate at that point. Um, Draw though was perfect, just the right amount of resistance I like. So no complaints at all in regards to draw. So what were your overall thoughts on the cigar?
This reminded me. So overall, profile of the cigar, it's almost like a really good Cuban double Corona, right? Which is something of this Vitola. So I got very full flavors, balance, building complexities and nuances. I really enjoyed it. I had no idea I don't really know much about Mombacho.
Mhm.
So with that said, I haven't really smoked much of their profile in their portfolio and offerings. But I really like the cigar. And kind of go back to the whole Cuban cigar thing I was talking about with double Coronas and just double Robustos and that typical Portola range. Sorry. Um, Anyways, going through it. So I don't typically get a lot of non-Cubans that has a lot of these kinds of building complexities. And typically for non-Cuban cigars, most of the double Corona, that Churchill-ish size, it becomes very monotonous,
Mhm.
and it leaves me quickly disengaged with the cigar. Typically at like the halfway mark, but I mean, smoking this for 3 hours, I enjoyed every single moment of it. Um, and I like to smoke a couple of more of it to see if that is the typical experiences that I had with just smoking one of these for review. And if that is the case, then I'm a seeker for more of these for sure.
Mhm. Yeah, this was my introduction to Mombacho, and it was a good one. I mean, I haven't smoked anything from them before. Profile in that initial third was fantastic. I just wish that that had kind of continued through the rest of the profile. Um, it just kind of dropped off in the second third, and then in the final third after the relight, it wasn't as good as even the second third. Um, I'd actually be interested in trying this cigar in a smaller Vitola. I'd just like to see if that profile from that first third would kind of take me further through the cigar on something that's maybe a shorter length or maybe even a smaller ring gauge. And I don't know if they even offer that because this is just a 50, so it's kind of standard ring gauge if you had a 5x50 Robusto or something like that. With the strength level that it had, I mean, I think it's approachable to most smokers. Maybe just new people that are just kind of starting on that mild level. It may not be for them, but I think for most other smokers, that profile is good. So I recommend people give this a try, especially if they haven't had anything from Mombacho before. But now this is, it really intrigues me that I want to try more of the lines that they offer in their portfolio. So it's something that it definitely didn't turn me off from the brand. So it's definitely something that's interesting. And I'd like to smoke another one of these as well, just to see if maybe a little bit better burn would kind of keep that profile going. What I had earlier on in the cigar. So getting into our scores, you gave it an 8.53. I gave it a 7.07. How do you think your score matched up with your experience?
Um, that score so far in the year tells me it's top at least top 10 cigar of the year for me.
Mm-hmm.
So it did very well. I really enjoyed it. You reminded me of especially the first one. The first one was by far my best, my favorite.
Mm-hmm.
And I debated. I've only given the amazing score, which is a high score that we rate within each section, and I've only given that once so far, which is in that Diplomatico Bushido Cuban that we smoked.
Mm-hmm.
And the first third of this cigar, I almost gave it that. And so really, what I'm trying to say, it was that good.
Yeah.
It was really good, rather. So yeah, I mean, uh, you know, great construction, very good flavors. All came out to be a good representation of that 8.5 score that I gave.
Yeah. Yeah, I think my score matches up well. I mean, like you, I had a fantastic first third, and then the scores just kind of dropped one level in each third. I just wish I had that first third kind of throughout the remainder of the cigar, because then it sort of scored. I'd be up there with you in the probably mid eights. But like I said, it was a great introduction for me. You know, can't necessarily pin all the hopes on the one sample that we smoked, but it's definitely something that's got me intrigued, wanting to try more. Um, so now that we have a buddy that's works for Mombacho, hopefully he can introduce us to more of the lines and things like that. So definitely looking forward to that. So congratulations to Robbie Raz for becoming the brand manager for Mombacho. So like I said, we'll bug him a little bit and see if he can't give us a tour of the portfolio. So,
No.
any final thoughts from you on the cigar?
No. It was a good surprise. Like I always love smoking smaller companies like this and finding gems.
Mm-hmm.
One of the reasons why I like continuing on with the cigar journey. So this is a good example of it.
Yep, exactly. Well, thank you for watching. If you're just catching this video on YouTube, be sure to check out our website, Developing Palates, for the full written review. But also subscribe to us on YouTube and follow us on all the social media channels: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Google+. Thank you for watching, and we will catch you all on the next video.